It is absurd what the WNBA is doing to take attention away from Caitlin Clark and downplay her greatness. Jason Whitlock is one figure who is unpacking the shady WNBA business.
Caitlin Clark is clearly the most valuable player in the history of the WNBA. She's clearly the best rookie the WNBA has ever seen. She's clearly the rookie of the year in the WNBA halfway through. But now they want to point you to box score. And Angel Reese, she's making history.
He is arguing that the WNBA is going out of its way to diminish Caitlin's accomplishments so that they can shine a light on other players. Perhaps they feel obligated to do so because of how other players have reacted to Caitlin so far. You have players like Angel Reese and Breanna Stewart criticizing the media coverage. They have been arguing that the viewership records and sales are not the result of just one individual. It is the collective effort that started from the previous generation of hoopers and now is being carried forward by the current crop of talent. That talent might be spearheaded by Caitlin, but there are plenty of others who deserve the credit. Now, although they do have a point, it is hard to argue with facts. It is no mere coincidence that Caitlin's name is attached to an all-new record-breaking incident. The only game that Clark wasn't involved in for the top-viewed matchups was the Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty in late May. And yet the WNBA is not highlighting Caitlin's game-changing abilities. Speaking of Angel Reese, she had a nasty incident with Caitlin in one of their recent games. Reese was coming from behind while teammate Isabel Harrison was also going for the ball. The former LSU star seemed to attempt a block but hit Clark's head instead. Officials originally called it a personal foul, and after a review, they upgraded it to a flagrant 1. Now, this type of thing does happen a lot in basketball because it is a physical sport. However, with it being Caitlin, many believe that Angel crossed the line and purposely struck her. Reese, on the other hand, believes that she did nothing wrong.
Can you kind of from the flagrant, did you feel like that?
The basketball play.
Yeah. Did you feel like that was the appropriate call, or?
It's a basketball play. I can't control the refs. They affected the game obviously a lot tonight. So.
But it did look at him, like you were going for the ball.
I mean, I'm always going for the ball, but y'all gonna play that clip what 20 times before Monday?
In her post-game interview, you could tell that she was frustrated by the way media portrayed Caitlin. On top of that, she really had an issue with the referees who seemed to be favoring Caitlin. One person who was truly disgusted by Angel's flagrant was Skip Bayless. He went as far as to say that it wasn't a basketball play and even called her bitter. Now, if something happened in the NBA, you might be looking at a suspension, but the WNBA didn't take any action. Perhaps they were protecting Angel at the cost of Caitlin. Another blatant example of this kind of behavior was when Angel's teammate, Kennedy Carter, took a cheap shot at Caitlin.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter, they called it away from the ball.
Afterward, Kennedy refused to make any comments about Caitlin. This incident was so bad that you had guys like Shannon Sharp calling out the WNBA players for targeting Caitlin.
That's not basketball. Angel Reese getting tangled up, Angel Reese trying to block her out and she hip checks her to the ground. That's basketball. That's bull jive. That's bush league. Now, you woman enough to check the woman and she ain't got the ball, but you ain't woman enough to answer questions?
Now, in the NBA, players also get targeted, but it is a more friendlier manner. A lot of young rookies want to dunk on LeBron James because, well, that would be an awesome highlight clip for them. Or when Wemby came into the league, everyone wanted to dunk on him because, well, it would be great. But no one really goes out of their way to harm or injure another player, which is why it has been so strange to see the women's reaction toward Caitlin, who seems to be simply playing the game and not doing anything extra. However, the WNBA has not done anything to protect Caitlin. They are just sitting back and watching. Whenever a similar type of cheap shot occurs in the NBA, that player is definitely suspended. Could you imagine how many games Draymond Green would have been suspended for if he had hit someone like Luka Doncic or Wemby for no reason? But once again, the WNBA took no action against Kennedy Carter, despite her trying to intentionally hurt Caitlyn. Now that definitely seems shady. It's like they're going out of their way to act as if they are not favoring Caitlyn in any way. The Fever head coach Christy Sides has been vocal about what she perceives as unfair treatment towards Caitlyn, arguing that the young star is being singled out by officials. Caitlyn also echoed these sentiments by stating, "I think everybody is physical with me. They get away with things that probably other people don't get away with. It's tough, but that's just the fact of the matter." Now, despite the physicality and the challenges, Caitlyn's resolve remains unshaken. The reigning league MVP Breanna Stewart was asked to address concerns about Clark's treatment and the physicality of the WNBA as a whole. "This is the best league in the world. No one is going to give you anything easy. The fastest, the strongest, the quickest. That's why this is the WNBA. Continue to pay attention to what we do." As the #1 overall pick and frontrunner for Rookie of the Year, Clark certainly gets more defensive attention than most young players. But according to Stewart, this type of physical welcome to the league is par for the course. Another example of the WNBA's unfair treatment against Caitlyn is the fact that they are highlighting records that no one really cared about before. An example of this is Angel Reese's recent double-double record.
Unbelievable. No one knows who had the record for 9 straight. No one cares. No one. Who has the record even in the NBA? Do we have any clue who's had the most consecutive double-doubles? It's a distinction. It's not a record. They're trying to draw a box score person.
Caitlyn was also left off the women's basketball Olympic team. It's almost as if they were appeasing the WNBA vets and showing favoritism. This confused the entire basketball world. Michael Jordan and the Dream Team famously used the Olympics to make basketball a global game, and many believe that the women's organization is messing up by not including Caitlyn. Paul Pierce doesn't always have the most rational of takes, but the fact that he is the voice of reason should speak volumes about this subject.
You claim you want the women's game to grow, and then you keep the most popular girl in women's basketball off the team. How do you grow internationally and domestically if you don't put her on the U.S. team? It just makes the most sense. Sometimes you have to say, hey guys, this is bigger than the game.
It's almost as if they don't want the women's game to grow. It's pretty clear that Caitlyn is the person who draws the viewership. Heck, Clark's selection with the #1 overall pick helped catapult the WNBA draft to record TV ratings. The 2024 edition of the event crushed the previous viewership record. An average of 2.45 million fans tuned into ESPN for the event, and the peak reached 3.09 million. That number marked a fourfold increase from the 2023 draft, which averaged 572,000 viewers. The largest audience before 2024 came in 2004 when Taurasi was drafted #1 overall out of UConn. The 2004 draft averaged 601,000 viewers. However, it sounds like the WNBA is trying its hardest to create other narratives. Some believe that the reason behind this is to create more competition. Everyone knows that Caitlyn is a shoo-in to win the Rookie of the Year award. But by highlighting Angel's accomplishments, you can create a different narrative.
I know what they're doing here with all this double-double talk. The only time I talk about double-doubles when I'm at In-N-Out, okay? But the fact that they're doing this, it leads me to believe that there is an agenda to make sure that the CNC Shot Factory does not get that award.
No matter how hard the WNBA tries to spread disinformation about Caitlyn, everyone knows that she is going to be an all-time great. As for the Rookie of the Year debate, well, there is no debate. The former Iowa Hawkeye star also became the first WNBA rookie ever to record a triple-double. Plus, she became the first player in Fever franchise history to achieve a triple-double, claiming the fastest triple-double record is not the only accomplishment under her belt. She became the fastest WNBA rookie to surpass 100 points and 50 assists, which she did in just 8 games. Which is why it is baffling to see how the WNBA is treating Caitlyn. She truly is a threat in every facet of the game, which is why she is such a winner. Even when her shot isn't falling, she can play make and get her teammates involved or grab boards and control the tempo of the game. She is not your typical one-dimensional basketball player, so no wonder she has taken over the league so quickly. For the season, Clark is now averaging 16.1 points, 6.0 rebounds, and 7.4 assists per game. She leads all rookies in scoring and assists and is the third in the league in the latter category. It is absurd how quickly she has become one of the best playmakers in the WNBA. On top of that, she was named to the Team WNBA All-Star team and received the most fan votes of any player in the WNBA. She definitely has the support of the masses, which makes it even worse when other WNBA tries to hate on her. Now, Caitlin has shown her disappointment about how much the talk is about other things and not the game itself. She believes that people should be spending more time talking about what's happening on the court rather than the sensational headlines and stories. Caitlin is undoubtedly one of the biggest stars the sport has ever seen, and her stardom has come with plenty of attention. All of that success has some longtime WNBA fans and fellow players resentful, feeling that Caitlin doesn't deserve all the attention that she has received. She has dealt with some aggressive fouls as well as her fair share of rough games. Despite the challenges, Caitlin's attitude has been one of respect and resilience.